Hello, I am Liz Scott, and I'm an accounting technologist, an educator, and the founder of Liz Scott Training and Consulting, where I help firms modernize with AI, workflow automations, human-centered client experiences, because that's what it's all about. I also am the co-host of the Appy Hour, focused on apps for the accounting profession. And I speak nationwide, and I am a champion for practical, secure tech adoption that gives accountants more time, control, and impact. I am honored today to be with Megan Reed. She is the training and engagement leader at Digits, where she helps accounting firms adopt AI native workflows from onboarding and first close to reporting powered by the company's autonomous general ledger. She co-created Digits Academy and regularly speaks at industry events, guiding firms to reduce busy work and elevate client experiences. Welcome, Megan. I'm glad that you're here.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure being here.
We are glad that you're here, and I love this conversation. There's so much buzz around AI. How do we utilize it in the accounting industry? And I would say many people would think that accountants are lagging behind, we're paper and pencil, but as many who are in the profession know, we are absolutely anything but. We are forward leaning with technology, and that includes AI. And how can we use AI inside of our accounting practices to speed up the process, to have that better client experience that we really want, which is all about engagement and what matters. So that really leads me over into Digits, and I'd like to get behind the scenes. So, what's pain sparked Digits, especially around this idea of owners waiting 3 to 4+ weeks for their financials?
Yeah, definitely. So Digits was founded by our CEO, Jeff Seibert. He has been a founder, he has been a business owner, he was product lead at Twitter. And being in the tech space, he's like, as in the tech space, we get all these real-time insights. And as a business owner, why are my insights and my financials and my reports so delayed? I'm waiting 3 to 4 weeks. The events have already occurred. I can't make real-time business decisions. And he's like, there has to be a better way in this AI world where we can help solve this problem. And so that's where Digits was really born and became about.
I love it whenever you have a individual who has a pain point and says, I can solve this. And so, really Jeff has that mindset of, give me the problem and then I'm going to find the solution. So, it's very unique what Digits is doing, and I love the approach that they're taking. So my next question, what makes Digits different as a true standalone ledger versus tools that sit on top of other existing general ledgers?
Yeah, that's a really great question. And so Digits is AI native, which means that we were built from the ground up for this machine learning AI era. Whereas other tools are trying to like bolt on after market kind of like technology to try to adapt. We're the first AI native accounting platform that is built completely different. And so we are agent operated. We are built using a semantic knowledge graph. So we learn context of every single business, rather than just seeing a transaction and guessing what it means. We are actually using machine learning to learn the businesses, to learn the firms, and then make automatic decisions off of that.
I think that that's a true distinction right there. And part of what I think of that as being you're removing the bulk and you're putting what matters first.
Yeah.
So, one of the ways that you and I got a chance to talk about it. So, one of the ways that you are training the models to reduce hallucinations is by allowing it to learn through actual real transactions. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so our proprietary models were trained off of like 825 billion transactions. And we also learn not only off of our proprietary models, but off of each individual client. And so, as opposed to like going in, setting rules, clearing bank feeds, our AI is automatically learning from the expertise of accountants. I am an accountant by profession, so I like understand these pain points that we go through. And we're automatically learning from every single business. So if you go in as an accountant and say, oh, this, change a categorization or something, we're instantly learning from that to get better and better and better.
I like that you're talking about from a client level and even from a firm level. There can be learnings that are taken away, and the machine learning, adopts that styling. So maybe it's a chart of account, a franchise, the way that you handle the particular types of chart of accounts. So I like that you're learning in both a overall group setting as accountants and serving our clients, and then also on the individual level.
Yes, yes. And that kind of brings me to we recently launched our firm level models for our accounting partners. And so, what that means is like every client has a specific way of doing things. We are going to first learn off of that client, but your firm as a whole has like invaluable expertise across all of your clients. And so, maybe there may not be, it's a brand new client, there is no history. Then we're going to look at how has your firm applied your knowledge across your client base, and we're going to learn from that and use that. And then if we don't have that information, then we'll use our proprietary models that have been trained over billions of transactions.
I think that one of the things that happens inside of an accounting firm is we are very hardcore with our systems, but they're not always documented systems. We try, but each client is different. They're special, they're unique, and they love hearing that. But it does make it where it's difficult and there's a lot of nuances.
Mhm.
Utilizing a tool that's able to take all of those nuances and say, aha, but there are patterns. And let
Exactly.
me show you how to apply those patterns. That is, really it's a time saving. It creates patterns that you can then follow, and you can train your team to say this is the way that we do things. So in that train of thought, I want to ask about firms that are adopting digits. Can you share some of the time savings? Are they able to make some changes in their hiring? And then ultimately, client experience is the thing that we're in the client experience era. So how is this helping that client experience?
Yeah, that is a really great question. So we work with hundreds of accounting firms now. Actually, before we launched our product fully to accounting firms, we also had an internal R&D firm under our product team. And so that I've actually started on that side of the business, but we served real clients on digits to help harden our systems and make sure that everything makes sense from what an accountant would expect. And so, what we see with that is that clients love being able to go in, look at their live reports, collaborate in all in one place. And that our AI has actually like reduced the time spent compared to, let's say, QBO or a legacy system by an average of like over 36% over time for a month end close. Our AI actually in the month of August, 90% of the transactions booked by digits were never touched by an accountant. So, not updated, not corrected. They were correct. 90% were fully correct.
That takes me into this time reduction. So I think that whenever I think about the pain points in accounting firms, the month end close includes reviewing our checklist, our knowledge as an accountant, senior level accountant knowledge is really needed there. And again, you're using the algorithm to be able to say, here's what we know should be done, here's what is done. And then that idea of time savings is huge, and the zero touches is huge. I would say that this is an area that many accountants are going to lean in further. So is there something more that you would like to share in that area?
Yeah, I think that really like what we see and how we view digits is just a tool to help reduce the tedium. And so we're not thinking of digits or AI as something that is going to replace the accountants, but we want the accountants to be able to spend more time doing whatever they want, whether it's higher value work or more clients or just providing that more custom level of expertise and experience to their clients is what Digits is kind of allowing the client to do. And we really see it in the area of reducing the month end close, reducing the friction. Let's say, sometimes clients, accountants go on vacation or may leave or may go into a different role. Digits has learned that specific client. And so you don't have to so much worry about what is the change management when I get in a new accountant in here. It just flows seamlessly and I feel like helps alleviate so many of those pain points that both firms and business owners experience.
I love that. And I even think that part of what you started off with saying is that you're not trying to replace the accountant.
Oh, no.
The thing that we keep on leaning into is this client experience concept. And so especially in this area of service-based businesses, a lot of those are small and there's a lot of, solopreneurs in that particular space. They don't always want to or know how to reach out for help. So a tool like this could help to lower the cost. It could help to speed up the deliverable to give them advice and guidance into how to run their business. Maybe a few little things that they didn't know before. So, there's pointers and tips. So again, you're not replacing the accountant, you're changing the role of the accountant. And that's why I get excited is because I want to see more of that development in that place of let me do the things that matter. Let me share with my client what matters. And they really want to hear, do I have it right? And these are the kinds of tools to be able to pick out those patterns, to be able to consolidate it and to make it fast. So that way we don't have to spend a copious amount of time figuring out what should we say to this particular client. The data is already there. Some of those things are being powered and brought to the surface for us.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
So in the idea of, oh my gosh, show it to us, I'd love I'd love to walk people through, what does it look like if they wanted to sign up? What does the dashboard look like? So what are those sandbox types of experiences that are available for them?
Yes, yes, love that. It's all fun and games to like hear everything. To actually see it is the real exciting part. So I am going to go ahead and share my screen here. Okay, can you see my screen okay?
Fantastic. Yes, I
Awesome.
do.
Awesome. Okay. So if you want to sign up for Digits, test it out, more than welcome to, can go to digits.com and there is a link to sign up. What I am showing here, you will see is Megan's demo firm and Megan's demo client. And so when you sign up for Digits, you will get dropped into what's called your firm dashboard, which looks just like this. Of course, this is the demo, so I only have one client. But you also have the ability to launch your own specific demo client. So this is a full sandbox environment that you get that you can fully play around with, edit, look at, use to even help, demo to your business owner clients, your end client, use as a training tool. Each individual person invited to your firm gets their own demo. So it's great for so many different purposes, but that's kind of what we're going to dive into and look at today as well. So let's go into the demo. When I pop into Digits, you are going to be placed here at the home page, which also is the place where we see the dashboards. And so I like to think of the dashboards, the home, as really the place where your clients are going to love spending their time. You have real life, fully customizable dashboards with KPIs and metrics that are kept up to date based on your connections. So what banks, cards, payroll, different systems you have connected to Digits. This is all kept fully up to date. And this is fully customizable. So you can come in here and edit and drag and drop so many different like metrics and KPIs that may be valuable to your client. Let's say like my client is really interested on how much they spend in travel. I can come and drag and drop this wherever I want. Let's say, they're profitable, so I don't care about runway. I can remove that. You can fully edit this to really provide the experience and the expertise to your client that you want. And you can even create multiple. So let's say I wanted to create a marketing focused one or a travel focused dashboard. You can create multiple here for different uses as well.
I like that you're sharing this. And, one of the things that you said is that clients are going to have this experience. So does that mean whenever we change the view of the dashboard for ourselves, that's also going to change the view for our clients?
Yes. So this plays honestly as an accountant who's worked in Digits a ton. I don't spend much time in these dashboards except for the fact of providing that experience for the client. So kind of think of this as like what is going to be valuable for the client, and that's how you can customize it for whatever view you want them to see.
I love that. While we're still in this place of getting started, I want to ask the question for those who are already utilizing, for example, QuickBooks Online, the migration. So what history is pulled? What's the start date? How long does that normally take?
Yes, so we have a seamless API migration path with QuickBooks Online. Essentially, what that does is when you add a client, it'll be before this screen, it'll be from your firm dashboard. This is demo, but what you'll see is like add client, add client. When you add a client, you'll select, I want to migrate them over from QuickBooks. You'll select what we call a cutover date, which essentially means at what day do you want Digits to start? So up until that date, we're going to pull in all the history from QuickBooks, all the transaction history, all the vendor, customer level data, your chart of accounts, everything will come over from QuickBooks up until that date. And then let's say we select October 1st, for example. Starting October 1st is when Digits will start working. And so all of the AI categorizations will be done. All of the real lifetime connections will be live as of that cutover date. But before that, we are bringing in absolutely all of the history from QuickBooks. And it's a very quick, seamless, you select the client you want to bring over, go through the OAuth, and QuickBooks or Digits does its thing to provision all of that information.
Awesome. Great to know. There's a couple of things that I saw on the dashboard, and I also see here whenever you're clicking into the client. So there's this inbox, and it's got a little pop-up there that says you've got 4, looks like something in there hanging out.
Yes. Yes, love that. Exactly where we like to go next with the demo. So this is one of the core like workflow differentiators from what you may be used to or accounts may be used to in legacy systems is that based on the connection, so you have your clients' banks, credit cards, so forth hooked up to QuickBooks Digits. Based on that, the transactions are automatically flowing in and posting to Digits. So there's no bank feeds, there's no creating rules, there's no clearing things to have them post. They're automatically posting based on the AI that we talked about earlier. So either based on your client's history, your firm history, or our proprietary larger models. The really great thing about Digits, though, is that we're not going to hallucinate, and we're going to know when we're really confident about a categorization and when we're not. So that's really where the inbox comes in. And you'll see a bunch of different sections, but as the accountant user, you'll see this categorize, which is where the AI will surface transactions that it has lower confidence in. So for example, here I see this US Patent and Trademark Office in here, and this is saying, okay, as the accountant, Digits wants you to verify how it should be coded. It's thinking maybe it's taxes, but it might be legal. Other really great thing is it's like maybe it's intangibles. This isn't currently in the chart of accounts, but I'm suggesting it. Do you want to add it? And you can quickly just add that category as well in one easy step. So what you would do as the first step in completing a month-end close is coming into your inbox, confirming those transactions, as opposed to going through clearing all the bank feeds, setting rules, all of that sort of thing. So for example, let's say we say this is legal. I'm going to save this. Digits is going to instantly learn from that to book transactions in the future automatically. It's also going to look in the history. So you can see it says Digits detected 2 similar transactions. I can review those in one click. These have popped up in the history. Should these also be legal? Yes, and I can update. And that is all. I can ensure consistency across the client's books.
Nice.
Yes. Yeah. So really that's kind of like the first step of the month-end close process, as opposed to clearing bank feeds and waiting for things to be posted. That's where the live reports and dashboards and things come in, is because your transactions aren't living in like this pending state waiting for an accountant to clear them.
So it's taking care of the transactions that need to be coded. It's leaving the transactions that don't have a high confidence level. You're then going through and you're telling it this is what it is. It's then applying that same logic to other transactions that exist that it's found, and then giving you a chance to review them, to say, no, maybe they do need to be treated separately. Or yes, great, let's make it very consistent. That does help with our month end, year end close processes. So that's great to see, and I appreciate that. I'm going to tell you where the next question that comes to mind is going to be: accountants want to know about our reconciliations.
Yes, yes, love that. So, under accounting, we have a lot of like accounting specific tools. One of those, of course, is reconciliations. So when we come into reconciliations, a few different things is that Digits is going to provide you this really nice, like summarized view of where all of your reconciliations stand. So for example, I can see, oh, I can see when a reconciliation was completed and by who. And I can see, oh, there was no reconciliation from April to May on this account. So you can easily come in and see, where does this client stand? Where do the reconciliations stand, and that sort of thing. And then actually what our team is actively working on, that is coming very, very soon, is to completely automate this entire process. Yes. So right now what we will do is, like, based on your connections, we do pull in the bank statements automatically. They will come and live in your documents, which is a secure file sharing system. We can hit a little bit more on that as well. And that is happening already today. What our team is actively building out coming very soon is to basically complete that loop. So essentially what that would look like is pulling in the bank statement into this view, detecting what the beginning and ending balances are, and then automatically comparing the PDF to the ledger, and then actually surfacing for you. Let's say there was a specific transaction on the PDF that doesn't live in the ledger. We'll highlight that and say, this is missing. Do you want to make an adjusting entry? Do you want to create it? And give you the tools to automatically create and review and reconcile that the banks and credit cards.
I like the flow of this. So one of the things that I'll say is, we always want to have our detail available to us. So, you quickly took us here into the detail, but what was very nice and clean is, whenever you were looking back at the reconciliation, it's more of a overall hierarchy. Here's the entire view. Here's all of the different accounts. If you want to start that process, then let's go into the details, and then you can examine each of those transactions, as necessary.
Exactly. And from the reconciliations too, what we do is we fully give you the tools to, if there was any discrepancy or if there was any adjustment that you needed to make, you can do so directly on this screen. And so if I were to reopen this, I have abilities to filter to find transactions. I
Okay.
can bulk change statuses. I can bulk change categories. I can directly add an adjusting entry if I needed to from here. I'm not like opening up multiple screens, going back, refreshing, doing that whole process. We give all of the tools to you directly here for you to ensure that things reconcile.
I like that. And the other thing too that I want to highlight is auto pulling in the statements. You were talking about the documents, but then you're also able to use those documents to enter in beginning and ending balances.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And to actually like determine, okay, this is what's in the ledger, this is what's on the statement. Do those items line by line tie out? Or is there something that's maybe in the ledger and not on the statement, or vice versa? And we'll automatically highlight and surface those for you.
So the reconciliation process, there is, you were talking earlier about a month end close without hands-on. So finalize right there. It's like, we could do what you were calling manual, which this is the manual experience, but there is a
Yes,
autonomous just do it
yes.
for me
Yes.
option.
So it is actively but almost completed. So coming
Okay.
in very, very soon. I would like definitely before the end of the year, likely in the next like few weeks, where essentially what will happen is think of your inbox as like your one-stop shop for all of our AI agents like working and what they're doing. Essentially what will happen is there will be a reconcile section that basically says Digits has prepared these reconciliations for you. Like, do you want to review? Do you want to approve? And you just go through your categorize, go to your reconciliations, review, approve. If there's anything that needs adjusting, you can do so. Our theory is like, we know that accountants have the most expertise. And so we want to automate those tasks as much as we can with still giving the accountants the ultimate say because we
Mhm.
realize that they have the ultimate expertise. So,
Well, and I appreciate that acknowledgement because there are times where we need to be very hands-on and be very manual with our reconciliation process. And there's other times that we're already pretty used to it almost being done for us.
yes.
So to go ahead and take that next leap is, in my eyes, very natural.
Mhm.
So I'm glad for that. I also in the idea of making edits, I want to talk about bulk edits.
Yes, love that. So I'm going to pop over into the ledger. This is essentially our full general ledger view where you can see all of the transactions. I'm actually going to pop over to September because there'll be a little more data here. But you can see all of the transactions that have occurred for any time period. So we're looking at a month, but you can look at a year or all time, essentially anything that you want. And you'll see them organized on the side here. This is kind of like your guide as you would see a trial balance. So you have your assets, liabilities, equity, and so forth. And in the ledger, we give you the ability to essentially do whatever you need to do as an accountant. One of those things is the ability to easily bulk edit and change transactions, either side of the category. So, for example, let's say, I have this client has revenue. I want to click down and look at where all of their revenue was coded. Let's say this was coded to subscription revenue, but after talking with my client, they want it to be, maybe split out, or maybe they want it to be called like enterprise revenue or something like that. I can actually select all of these transactions. I can change both the source category or I can move where this is coded. So here, let's say I wanted to change this to, we'll just say transaction revenue as an example. I can automatically go in and apply that, and that's going to be done in one simple click. And this ability lives in several different places within the product. We give accountants the ability to do that basically at any step or any phase that they're in completing the financials.
Nice. We do like our bulk edits.
Yes.
That's super nice. So being able to change accounts, change, in groupings like that is very necessary. One of the things I heard you say was you've mentioned a couple of times the accountant tools. So is this something that is available to accountants and not to our clients, or
So
can be?
Yes. So what we try to do as Digits is like every business owner is different. Every client is different. Sometimes they're like, I don't even want to see it. Just, hands off, just do the work. And others are very interested. They want to have visibility. They want to see things. And so what we do is we do give them the ability to view the ledger. They also have this other view of banks and cards because this is mainly for the client user. They're interested in where is their cash going? Where is it coming from? And so you can see, like, for example, here, a client can see what is coming in and what is going out. They can also see the categorization, so the opposite side, not the source side. They can update, let's say if they were like, oh, this should not be taxes, this should be licenses. They can update the related category. They cannot update the source. So what that means is like we don't want them accidentally going in and being like, oh, this is not from Mercury Checking, this is from Mercury Credit Card, and then all of your reconciliations are messed up. So our philosophy is like giving them what they may want to do without giving them too much capability to then the accountant has a big headache because things are accidentally messed up.
I want to stay on this same track because one of the things that I'm a big advocate of is sharing the books,
Mhm.
um, and having those conversations back and forth. Sometimes it's an internal conversation that's going to take place. Sometimes it is, in this case, United Healthcare. Okay, client, did you pay for something personally? Is this a doctor visit? Is this a premium? What is this for? So I might want to ask my client the questions. Can you talk about how you comment and mention and view those activity logs?
Yes. One of my personal favorite things besides the categorization, because working in QuickBooks for 15 years, that's huge, but is the in-product collaboration. And so essentially anywhere in product, you can communicate back and forth with your client, with your team, anyone who's invited as a user to this instance. And this can happen on the transaction level. This can happen on an account level, a report level, basically anything. But let's say, for example, this United Healthcare transaction, we have drilled into it. We're not sure what it is, and we want to ask the client. You will see this little comment icon all throughout product, which is essentially the place to communicate and start those conversations. So I can say at whoever, this is obviously a demo client, so I don't have like users invited, but any type of user invited, I could say at Megan, at Liz, what was this expense for? Please provide documentation, essentially whatever you want to say. You can comment that. It's going to create a thread so you can see on one place exactly what has happened, the back and forth. It's
Mhm.
also going to create a little icon here so that when you open a transaction, you automatically know if there's been any comments on it. Yes. We'll actually, if there is a comment, we will actually default to this page instead of the insights. We try to present to you what's the most valuable. So if there's nothing that has been said, it's more valuable to see what is the history on this type of vendor. If there has something that's been said, you need to know what that context is. But this is actually going to then go to the person that you have commented to. And this is where the inbox comes in from the client point of view as well. So clients won't see the categorized, but they will see comments. So this would pop in as an assigned comment to them where they could come in and respond. And then you, as the accountant, you want to know what you or your team have asked. And so this is where we have kind of these four different sections. Assigned is like what has been directly assigned to me. Watching is where we will see that comment that I made to someone. So anything that you have made to someone, you are watching it for a response. And then open is going to be all open comments within products. So you maybe as a manager, you want to see what's open. Maybe I'm not directly involved, but I want to look at it. You can see those. And then of course we keep a running list of everything that has been closed as well. So your client could come in, they could drag and drop the attachment directly in here. They could say, this was for healthcare, whatnot. And then when you're ready, you can just resolve the thread and it will move over into closed.
I love this and I appreciate that explanation. I also want to talk about integrations
Mhm.
that are available right now. So payroll is a big one. So Digits does not have payroll, but you have integrations to payroll solutions.
Correct. Correct. Yes. So we do have a couple of things directly built in products. We do have like you can pay bills, you can create send invoices, but we don't have payroll built in. We do currently have a native integration with Gusto. And so what that means is we will pull in all of those entries on an accrual basis, and it's all actually managed within Digits. So that means you set up the connection, you manage the mappings, everything within Digits instead of having to go to Gusto, connect things, and everything like that. Our team is actively working on more and more integration. So we expect to have many more ones like ADP, paychecks, and things like that towards the end of the year. If your client does use a different system, that does not by any means mean they can't use Digits. There'll be a little bit less automation today, but we do have the ability to bulk import journal entries or manually create journal entries and things like that, just as you would see in legacy systems.
Okay. I think that, talking about the communication, one of the things that I want to look at is financials.
Mhm.
So sharing financial reporting with my clients, what is available to me and how is that delivered?
Yes. So a couple of different things. We kind of take the look at we want clients to be able to view their financials and have access to their financials in real time as much as possible. However, as an accountant, we need our clients to know that that takes a little bit of time for us to reconcile, ensure consistency, ensure accuracy. And so we kind of have two different views of reports to kind of distinguish that. And so first you'll see your financials, which both accountants and clients have access to. This is the live real-time updated financial report. So here you'll see P&L, balance sheet, cash flow statement, AP and AR aging. We provide some really great insights on revenue and expense analysis. You also have the ability to easily toggle between different time periods to look at trends and things like that, as well as different like deltas and percentages and things like that to help you, spot any anomalies or anything. Here and anywhere, you'll see this also in the custom reports, but we have this really great hover to discover feature. And so basically any line item, we are going to provide you insights on that line item and your client. So say I'm looking at payment processing fees, I hover over it, I can see what has happened in the history. How does this month compare with prior periods? It'll automatically be given some of those insights. So we spent 53 less percent this month. I can dive in, I can look at what are the top transactions. I can also dive into the details directly from here as well. And then same with those bulk edits. Let's say I needed to edit or make an adjustment. I can easily do that as well. So from both the client and the accountant perspective, this is a really great way to easily give your clients access. They can download reports. As an accountant, this is an excellent tool for like a final review. And then when you are ready to publish your report, that's where we have custom reports. And so this is your stamp of approval. The month end close has been completed. I'm basically going to provide a snapshot in time. These reports will not change after you publish them unless you go in and say like refresh, republish. But this is essentially you can build out a fully customized report for your client. In these, I'll just quickly show you have the ability to add different like logos, whether you want your client logo, your firm logo, you can call it whatever you want. You can actually like get creative as an accountant for once and pick a pretty cover. And then you can write an executive summary to your client and provide them some of those additional KPIs and metrics. This is where like a lot of times I like to be like, hey client, your financials are completed. Please take a look at the items in your inbox. Let us know if you have any questions. I wanted to call out XYZ, whatever it may be. And then you dive into the meats and potatoes where you have your three main financial statements that can also be fully customized. So if I wanted to provide them a month over month view or a monthly breakdown over the last 6 months, if I wanted to show year over year, there's a ton of customizable capabilities that can be useful for your clients as well. And then so sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. I like all of these, these features to be able to drill down and to customize, but I keep seeing this little comment bubble pop
Yes.
up. So can you talk about that comment bubble?
Yes. So anywhere, just as we had gone and looked at the transaction view, anywhere in product is fully commentable. So I'm going to pretend that I have published this. Well, I'm actually going to publish this. You will see that, any metric, any KPI, any line item has the ability to create a comment. So you or your client can say, like for subscription revenue, we moved this to transaction revenue. Or if your client maybe asks, why is this 0? Then they can comment. This will also live in the inbox as we had said, but you're also going to see a running list of what has happened. So I may need to refresh here.
Well, and I even like that it shows the activity log of when the reports were published. So would I be able to see that my client actually looked at this report as well?
Exactly. So this will be a full activity log of everything that's occurred on the report. You can see when I created it, when I published it, any comments you'll see when your client and maybe your client has like the CEO and their, CFO or something invited. You can see who has looked at it, when they've looked at it. And then also this can be shared, and different aspects within Digits can be shared individually without sharing the entire Digits instance. So for example, let's say your client has a board meeting. They want to share just this report with their board. They can do so, and the board can still have the Digits experience, come in, get a link, see the hover to discover things, see all of the great metrics and KPIs without getting full access to the product.
Got it. And I love all of the things that you've shared in the demo, and I appreciate you being thorough and walking us through a lot of components. In the spirit of, I know a lot of people are going to want to try and figure things out on their own. They're wanting to may probably find some more information. So can you talk about Digits Academy or the partner program?
Yes, so a couple of things. We recently launched our full Digits partner program, and as a part of that, our Digits Academy. With the partner program, we want to partner with firms to, of course, you can earn discounts on Digits, you can get customized training, different co-branding opportunities. There's a ton of opportunities there. And we also launched Digits Academy. So this is where I am logged in let me log out as a admin here, 1 second. This is where I helped create most of the content, but firms, your team members can come in, earn Digits certifications, so badges and things to share on your website and socials, but also learn not only about how to use Digits, but also some of these other things that are really difficult for firms right now in this world of AI. So this Staying Ahead in AI course was actually created by our principal machine learner, Hannes, who literally writes books on machine learning. But we dive into what are the fundamentals of AI? How do I sift through the noise of AI? All of these things that are really, really, really helpful for firms to help become an AI native firm and stay ahead of the curve in all of these things that are happening.
I think that's brilliant, because I think that everybody is on their own AI journey, and it's great to acknowledge that where you're at is 100% okay. And I don't like to think that anybody who is at least engaging is left behind, because there's so much that's happening so quickly that if you're just absorbing and you're staying connected, you're going to continue to learn and grow. So I'm appreciative of today, Megan. And
Thank
for
you.
everyone who wants more Megan, go check out the training and learn more about digits. And I want to thank you for your time today.
Thank you so much. It was such a great conversation. I am so excited. Hopefully, this is exciting and helpful to your audience, but it was just really a pleasure to join and chat with you today.
Well, same here and more to come. And it's exciting to watch digits thrive.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
Bye, everyone. See you next time.